Hey friend, welcome back to Crafter Support, and this is day 13 of Crafting Christmas, and today we're going to make this cute acrylic ornament. So the first thing we need to do is jump into Design Space and pull up a circle. So this acrylic ornament is a 3-inch circle, and we just need it to be like our background, our design holder up until we get to the make it part. So I just changed the color to white, and then I type in Christmas pink. So I wanted to do, what I'm doing is making ornaments for my daughter for in her hope chest, and each year giving her an ornament that she can put in there so that way there when she gets her own home, when she's married and has her home and all of the things, she will have a start to her Christmas ornament collection. So if you're looking at this design and say, hey, that looks familiar, yes, it is, because we made a button out of this a couple days ago. And I want to show you guys how versatile these designs are and images are on Cricut Design Space, that you can turn it into anything you want. You could put a design on a t-shirt with it, or a sweatshirt, or like we've made buttons and now we're making an ornament. And all I'm doing is going over to the right hand side layers, and I'm just like clicking on that little eye, like the eyeball looking eye, and I'm just taking out the pieces I don't want of the design and I'm adding my own. Super simple. So I'm going to put 2023 because I like to put the year of the ornament on it, and I find a really cute one that I like, that I think goes well with the other two fonts that are already on it. And I'm pretty sure I pick it very soon. Yeah, I think it's this one. And so then I'm just going to resize it to make sure that it fits on the ornament where I want it to fit. So we're just going to, you can pull it from the corner, you can go up into the lock, click your little lock to unlock it and pull it the size you want it if you need to, or just leave it alone and use the aspect ratio. That's completely up to you. So now that I have all the pieces that I want, now I have to weld some pieces together because I want it to cut exactly like it's supposed to. And what I do is I go over to the layers panel, I hold the shift key down on my computer, and then I go to combined, and then I click weld. And that's going to hold those specific colors all together whenever it cuts. And it's going to cut exactly like it shows. So I won't have to have like a whole, it won't just give me a line of snowflakes. The snowflakes are going to be cut exactly like it shows right here. And then I want to do the same thing for the Mary and the trees and make sure that they're done. And then I'm going to save it, because once I finish a design and right before I make it, I like to save it just in case something happens. If I make the design, I finish cutting, and I click out of Design Space and I forgot to save the design, it makes me very sad, because then sometimes I have to go back and remake it. So here I forgot to delete this because we didn't need it. So all you have to do is put hide. You can just hide it by clicking on the 3 buttons. And then we have our 2 colors, our pink and our blue. So see how everything's in place where it needs to be. It looks perfect. So we're going to click continue, and then it's going to take us to like hook up to our Cricut Joy, because you want to make sure that you have selected the proper machine you're going to be using it on. And here is my Joy. It's always on my desk. You guys know it. If you're new here, it's always on my desk. My bigger machines are separate, but I love to have my Joy handy on my desk whenever I want to craft. So these are the acrylic ornaments. I got them off Amazon. They do have a protective covering on them, but be super careful. You can scratch the acrylic with your weeding tools, so just be really careful whenever you are peeling it off, because it's stuck on there pretty well. And there's one on the back as well, so that's what gives it like a little frosted look until you pull that off. But once you peel it off, it's crystal clear. It looks beautiful. So we're going to set that aside and try not to touch it too much, because I didn't pull out any of my alcohol pads to clean it with. But it's okay, it still works out. So I'm going to be using my blue mat. You can use your green mat, especially this is scraps of smart vinyl. So the smart material that Cricut sells has a thicker backing than regular vinyl, and I feel like it curls a lot more on my mat. But I'm just going to use my Cricut brayer, bray it down, and it cuts perfectly fine on this. And I'm only going to use one mat, so I'm just flipping my mat over and I'm loading my teal color on the other end. And again, just bringing it down so it stays in place. And then I get I believe I have to pull my laptop at this point because I forgot that I pre-design all my designs and then I make the videos later. So I just had to pull it up on my computer. So now I'm just getting ready, and if you're unfamiliar with the Cricut Joy, it has no buttons or anything on it. It's completely Bluetooth run, and so you just slide your mat in and it pulls it in and does everything it needs to do. And it's pretty like just a plug and play. Like, I love this for quick projects. So now I'm just going to click go and it will start cutting. So these snowflakes are super, super tiny, and the Cricut Joy does such a great job at cutting out these little tiny, tiny things. Yes, my Explorer 2 does a great job. My Maker 3 does an amazing job. But for the power of this little tiny machine, it cuts so precisely. And that's what I love about it, and that's why it's always on my desk. I have people ask me all the time, well, if you have the bigger machines, why did you want a little machine? To be honest, I wanted this machine because it was cute, and when it came out, it was new. But now that I have it, it's like something that I use all the time. So anyways, this is transfer tape, and I'm going to be using a piece of parchment paper. And we're going to use that so we can line up our design perfectly on our acrylic ornament. So now it's just cutting. And guys, I have some fun things coming up. I've really kind of found like my little, like, I think what's smooth working for me. And I am so much enjoying making these videos all of December. Obviously, once January comes, I am going to cut back a little bit, but I think I'll be going to like 3 videos a week. But I've just been like having such a good time creating and crafting Christmas with you guys. So I'm looking forward to January, and I can't believe Christmas is almost here. I still have a bunch of more stuff I need to make with you guys so that I have all of my Christmas stuff made, because I'm making stuff that I'm giving as gifts or that I'm using to decorate my house with you guys. So that's the fun of crafting Christmas. And I'd love for you guys to join our Facebook group if you're not already a member, and share whatever you're making, even if it's not what I'm making. Like, if you just made something really cute that you love for Christmas, go post it. We would love to see it. Even if it's not for Christmas, if you just made something and you're like, hey, I want to brag a little bit, go over there and brag, and we will show you so much love that you will be like, I'm going to brag every day, and we'll love that too, because we love to see what you make. All right, so now that I have the little pieces, my tip for today is if you have tiny pieces that are cut on your machine, I take my brayer and I roll it over them to like give them that more like stick down, because I feel like they kind of lift a tiny bit whenever the machine cuts them, like all of my machines, not just my Cricut Joy. But I feel like when I run my brayer over them, it like flattens everything down again, and I can peel it really, really easily, because I don't know if it looks like it, but these are tiny. These are so tiny, like pieces that I'm pulling out of the letters, and they're coming out perfectly. So I think I'm done. Yeah, my machine's done cutting now, and I'm just going to, like I said, weed out all the insides of the pieces, and then we'll do the final outside peel. The Cricut Smart material peels very well for permanent vinyl. I struggle sometimes with permanent vinyl. Like, that's kind of like my least favorite thing to work with, but I've recently been enjoying it with the Smart material. So that's kind of what I've been going to with the permanent vinyl. I do not care for other permanent vinyl, especially like there's one brand that I do like it's Oracle 351 or 361 or 631 or something like that. I've worked with that a lot, but I didn't like working with it because I felt like I was constantly redoing projects all the time because I would get it stuck to itself and it would peel up other pieces, and it was very frustrating. But I don't know if it's because of the backing of the Smart material. I feel like it's easier to work with. And here's another tip. If you have a tiny, tiny piece like these tiny snowflakes and you're peeling them up and like one little piece is like still tucked into the material, like the cut, just lay your spatula down on it and it pulls right off and it stays in place and you're good to go. So I've had people ask me like, well, if you ruin a design, like what do you do with it? Like, do you just throw it out? No. If something happens, that's why these tools are made, is so that way there, when you're working with something delicate like this and you're peeling it up and you want to make sure that it doesn't, you don't lose any pieces, use the tools that Cricut provided for us to make the designs come out perfect. And that's just what I do. I love using my tools to like help with my weeding, because you guys know I don't like to weed material. Some people think it's like therapeutic. I don't like to do it at all. I just want to get my project done. Like, I'm excited about the project, so I'm like, okay, let's just get the weeding done so that we can move on to the next portion and get this project done. So I do use all of the tools that I show you guys. Obviously, you see I use them. And like I said, these are teeny tiny snowflakes. And they've, like I said, they peeled up really nicely. And I think I only have one left that I need to peel off. But I believe this is in real time. I don't have this sped up. So you guys are seeing like how long it took me to make and weed this design. Okay, so now we're going to set that aside and we're going to do our teal color. And we just have to unload it from the laptop because remember, there's no buttons on the Joy. And we're just going to cut off the little piece, and I'm saving all these scraps. I'm starting, like, I have a huge collection of iron-on, but I don't have a big collection of permanent and removable vinyl. So I'm starting to like keep a lot more of my pieces, but my business ran a lot on iron-on instead of doing like if I was doing a specific project for somebody and they ordered, usually they were businesses and they would order like 100 or 300 of a project, and I would just buy the material I needed to make those 300 or whatever it is that they needed. So that's why I don't have a lot of that. But when I'm making them shirts or bags or sweatpants or anything like that, I would always buy in bulk my iron-on, and then I would just have all the colors. So that's why I have so much. I got the question the one day about why did I feel it was necessary to have like every color in so much vinyl, because I posted a short or something that they watched. And I'm like, well, I ran a business. The average person isn't going to have bulk material unless they needed it. So that's why, if you're wondering, and I'm using all of that to make the videos. I don't think I've had to buy much of anything to make these videos for you guys, because I want to use what I have so I can get whatever new comes out in the new year, because I'm excited for whatever Cricut has coming, and they always come up with something amazing. So here I'm doing the same thing. The little Christmas trees were so thin and they cut beautifully. I just was like peeling it. I was lifting up more than I was coming at an angle, and so it moved them, and I just had to go back in and wiggle them with my tweezers, and I got them back into place, and it was perfectly fine. And see, normally if this was the other permanent vinyl, I would be like, okay, starting over because this isn't working. But this vinyl just, it cuts differently. I don't know. Whatever Cricut does to it, it's amazing. So here I'm just replacing it. These are the Cricut like reverse tweezers, and I just use them to pick up the design and then push it back into place. So that did take me a little bit of time, and I did edit out that it took me longer than I was trying to. But guys, I'm blind and I couldn't see if I had it in the right place and kept sticking my head in the in the camera, and I was like, okay, we're just going to edit that out. You don't need to see all that. Okay, so now that I have that in place, now we're going to be using our transfer tape. So this is the Cricut brand transfer tape, and you can keep this and reuse it a few times. You don't only need to use it once and throw it away. You can use it multiple times. And I'm just using my weeding tool to get it started. Now, I know other people don't have as much trouble. I think it's because of my fake nails that they don't allow me to peel vinyl very well. So I'm just going to lay it down, and once you commit, when you're laying your transfer tape, just do it. Just drop it down and use your scraper tool to pick up all of the pieces. And I sometimes do the back. I don't know if I do the back this time because Cricut transfer tape, it's either you love it or you hate it, and I love it, and it does a good job. If I need to come down a little bit on something, I can just press on that particular spot, and you can, like I'm using the spatula, you can even use the spatula and it picks up all of the pieces. So I'm ready to like lay the design, the main design on here. So I'm just going to line up through the little circle. And sorry about the glare. And then I'm going to lay my parchment paper down, and then I'm going to lay my design on the parchment paper with just a little bit of the transfer tape at the top sticking out so that I can make a like a hinge. And then what I do is I line up my design, make sure all of my pieces are on the acrylic circle, that nothing's hanging off, and then I'm just going to press the top and then hinge it back, and then remove the parchment paper, and then lay my design down flat. So I'm just going to take my scraper tool and scrape it down, kind of like in a quick motion. And then I'm just going to rub all of the pieces so that way I make sure that they're going to stay down. And then we can remove the transfer tape. And I just come at an angle and I pull it back, holding it close to the design. And everything stays in place. And I'm happy with that. And now we're just going to cut another piece of transfer tape. Oh, that looks so pretty. Another piece of transfer tape for the word Merry and the little Christmas trees. And here I'm just going to trim it off. It's much easier to work with a close to the size that you need versus having way more than you need, because then that can cause trouble if it picks something else up or anything like that. So now we're just going to get our transfer tape, or I'm sorry, our parchment paper, and peel our letters off. And oh yeah, I didn't scrape it and take it off the backing. So we have to do that first. We have to remove the design from the backing paper. And it comes off really nicely. And now we're going to try to line it up on the ornament. So here's where I cut a piece of parchment paper to fit. And I'm just going to lay my design on it, leaving again extra transfer tape off of the parchment paper so that way there I can align it, make that hinge, and then stick it in place. And this way here, like, you can make sure you're in the exact spot that you want to be in whenever you press it down. So there's my hinge. I'm just going to lift it up, and as I peel it out, I'm going to press down. And that's in the perfect spot. And I'm going to scrape it. Sorry you can't see, there's a glare there. But now I'm just scraping and making sure that all of my pieces have been pressed down, and just pull it off. And again, be very careful if you're using a weeding tool, because it can and will scratch your design, the acrylic itself. And that's it, guys. Like, it turned out so cute. I'm trying to figure out a way for you to see it best, but it ends up turning out really, really cute. And if you need to go back and watch the beginning of the video just to see it, it is so adorable. I'm not sure if I'm going to put a string on it or not. I don't know if I want to do ribbon or what I want to do, but now I'm peeling the backing off that I told you guys about at the beginning, and you'll be able to see exactly how crystal clear these ornaments are. So aren't they so pretty? So it just says Merry Christmas 2023, and I think she's going to love it. It's going to be a stocking stuffer. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all enjoying this series, and I'd love for you to comment, subscribe, and share.